Welcome to the Panic Button. I'm Nina.
Hi, I'm Jessie.
So Blaire White was on Piers Morgan, and that liberal blonde gay guy was on.
Oh, the guy that... Yeah, him.
Yeah, that one.
We don't like him.
James, the NHS is to declare sex a biological reality as part of its new constitution. The guidance will mean that trans men should not be housed on single-sex male wards. Transgender people whose gender identity differs from their biological sex may be provided single rooms where appropriate. Patients will have the right to request a person of the same biological sex delivers any intimate care. Phrases like chest feeding will be banned, all with the backdrop of Daniel Radcliffe saying that J.K. Rowling, who's been campaigning for all this, is disgusting and awful, and he wishes, presumably, he'd never taken her grubby millions. Where do you sit with this? To me, this is not only...
It's easy to say when you have the millions already, isn't it?
Nobody watched his Weird Al movie.
Yeah.
The people who did
it
watch
wasn't
it...
even a biography. It's portrayed to be a biopic, but really it's like a fantasy recreation of his past.
Life.
Yeah. Fucking weird.
I think Daniel Radcliffe is really downplaying how much J.K. Rowling started his career.
Yeah, he's quite overrated, to be honest.
Even before this, I could not sit to watch him on a podcast. I couldn't sit to watch him on a fun podcast.
Has he been on a podcast?
Well, podcast, internet show, whatever you want to call it. Because you know I like Rhett and Link, Good Mythical Morning.
Yeah.
I'm maybe... But, like, he was on that. I was watching all of them from the beginning.
He was on that?
I was watching all of them from the beginning, and, like, season 4 or whatever came around, and he was on. And I literally skipped the episode because I just couldn't stand to hear him talk.
He's the one... he did a YouTube video with trans kids.
Well, season 4 was, like, literally 10 years ago now, so it's like, been a minute. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not like he was recently on there from any of my knowledge.
A victory for common sense, but it's also going to help trans people in the long run. Because a lot of these debates, I think, have been very damaging to the transgender attempt to get to proper fairness and equality, because it has made transgender people the subject of mockery. Where do you sit?
I think that's a confusing take, to be honest. I think it's bullshit. I mean, you know how difficult it was for your mum to get a bed in hospital. You told that story recently, and it was devastating. And they're now saying they're going to separate people. They're going to check what's going on underneath their clothing. Like, this is just insane. They don't have enough resources as it is. It's a completely under-resourced institution, and the people that work for it are amazing, but they need more support, as do trans people. And to vilify trans people is...
Are there not doctors? Do they not check what's going on in your body? It's not like an invasive process. Like, it's not like people are poking and prodding at you every single second. They just want to put you in a safe facility with the like people who mirror your anatomy.
Yeah, they have to do that when you go to prison, too, to make sure you're not bringing anything into the...
They're not doing it to invade your privacy or, like...
It's for the safety of everybody else as well.
And for health reasons sometimes, too.
Yeah, I don't think many women have prostate cancer.
We have to get our tits squished. Men have to get a finger up their butt.
The fucking press.
Well, hang on. We each have a problem.
I know.
Men get a finger up the butt.
Oh.
And we have to get our little titties pressed by a hydraulic press.
Yep.
I'm just saying, like, and that's...
I know. It's just...
Yes, it's invasive. Like, it feels weird, but we're not doing it to make you feel weird. We're doing it for health reasons, for safety reasons, because you want to keep living. Same thing here.
Yeah.
Vilify trans people is just disgusting.
You've literally said nothing there. That was
Thanks,
a giant
Esther.
nothing burger.
Thank you.
And it said where appropriate, which means if the resources are there, then they can have their own rooms. At the end of the day, there's no reason for a trans woman to be on a maternity ward. And I hate to break it to you, but you're not a woman. You have no idea how it feels to have your legs open, being in that intimate environment, trying to give birth. There is no space for someone who identifies as something else other than their gender to be
Why
there.
would a trans woman be giving birth on a maternity ward?
You tell me, because
No, I mean,
apparently
that's
they can
exactly.
do that.
That's a crazy thing
Apparently
to
they
ask.
can do that.
That's a crazy thing
Here's
to
the
suggest.
reality. We're coming to a point, and speaking as a trans woman on the panel here, we're getting to a point in society where we have to...
They suggest it quite often. Like,
We'll get there one day.
Yeah, like they say that they can have uterus transplants. They also say that they get periods. Oh, they go hardcore on the fact that they say, that they have periods. They really defend that to the death. quite interesting.
This is crazy.
Speaking as a trans woman on the panel here, we're getting to a point in society where we have to start to cope with the fact that there have been a lot of excesses with the trans movement. It's done a lot of things incorrectly. It has put people off. It's hurt women. It's hurt children. When it comes to prisons specifically, biological men should not be in women's prisons. We have enough incidents here in the U.S. of women getting pregnant, getting raped. A lot of states in the U.S., you don't even have to have reassignment surgery to be in a woman's prison. It's just on your safe, though. It's also come and it's rebounded and it's damaged trans people. And it's made people look at the community like, what in the world is going on?
Yeah, and on that
Think about it, the people who are causing all the damage are people who say they're trans, but will renege on that immediately as soon as the backlash happens, meaning that there's no backlash to them. There's no them having to take responsibility for it. They could just fade into the background while everyone else has to suffer. It's kind of fucked up.
Well, that's the advantage they have as someone who can decide whatever they want to be at any given time of the day.
Problem with self-ID.
point about the prisons, I mean, the Scottish National Party, which is the ruling party in Scotland, the leader's just resigned, closely following on the heels of the previous leader. And it all goes back, actually, to when the previous leader, Nicola Sturgeon, insisted on putting a male rapist into a female prison. And at that point, most Scottish people rose up and went, this is completely insane.
It's because the fear of being called transphobic, even the state fears it, which is really scary.
I just wanted to pick up on the point you said where, you know, people in politics are afraid to be transphobic. That is absolutely not the case in this country, where our Prime Minister will happily make transphobic jokes and get away with it.
Well, it's shifting now. It's shifting now, but we're leaving an era where it was absolutely a thing that was happening, where you couldn't speak against the movement. You couldn't be seen as on the wrong side of history.
Hey, just to be clear, the joke the Prime Minister made was in reference to the fact that the Labour leader is incapable of saying what a woman is, right? And believes that 99% of women don't have a penis. Okay.
Oh my God. Oh my God. These people are running countries. Doesn't that make you scared?
I'm scared about a
If
lot
they
of
can
things.
define what a woman is, how can they fight for the rights of women, like abortion rights? They can't.
Well, it's contradictory in a lot of ways. That's the problem.
Exactly. You're fighting for the rights of men who think they're women over the rights of women.
Who are actually women.
Okay. Let's not get into the
that,
graphic.
and if we want to get very literal and slightly personal, that sort of thing affects me exactly 0%. But men, trans women, and biological males being in women's prisons is actually going on a realistic level going to affect me more, because it makes me look like one of these people. So if I had to choose between which one I want to stop happening, I really don't care about jokes. And because I'm a normal person, I care more about women's safety.
I don't know if it's majority or if it's 50% of people who say that they're trans really have no respect for women at all. It's very interesting.
At least they don't display a respect for women.
No, because if you respected women, you would know that your presence, especially if you don't pass, would make someone uncomfortable, a woman uncomfortable in the woman's bathroom or locker room. So if you were completely aware of that, you wouldn't put women through that. Especially, you know, you're trying to be one and you're not respecting how they feel, and yet you demand that they respect how you feel. That's not a woman, because women don't do that. So it doesn't really shine a good light on the, and I have to do it in air quotes, trans people, because I don't believe that these people who are making a big fuss are actually trans. I think they're the instigators. You know, they're the ones who are so fade off in the background.
And to attack government officials for making trans jokes, calling them transphobic, it's not gonna win, especially since everything is shifting now. He said that the joke was about someone higher up saying that he didn't know what, basically he couldn't explain what a woman was. Yeah. It wasn't really like wrong, was it?
No, I mean, I think that's a valid reason to make fun of someone if they can't define what a woman is when they actually know what a woman is. They're just lying.
It's not transphobic. It's truly the opposing political view. That's it.
I wouldn't say it's transphobic. I'd say it was lying.
Well, no. He's.
Oh,
I'm saying.
Sorry.
He's
telling the truth.
Well, yes, he's telling the truth and expressing that he shares a different political view than the person he's referring to. He's not even making fun of him. He's expressing his own political views that differ from the other guys.
Right, and that's what they think is transphobic.
But it's not. That's freedom of
That's
speech.
what transphobic is nowadays.
Yes, but that
It's
is freedom of speech.
disagreeing with the opposing
Yes.
party. Yeah.
It's not even a personal thing. It's a political thing,
That's why transphobic is bunk.
especially in this case.
James, again, week in, week out, you are enraged by all this. You think it's terrible that trans people should be able to do all these things. They should be able to compete against biological women at sport. They should be able to put in women's prisons. They should be able to do the blah, blah,
I've
blah.
never
blah, blah.
spoken on women's prisons, actually.
So you don't think they
That's
should
a-
be?
that's-
Do you think trans people should be put into women's prisons?
I think that
Yes or
they
no?
should be safe,
Yes or
as
no?
should all prisoners.
Hang on, then what's the question?
That's
That's
not
my
an
answer,
answer,
Piers. I'm
though.
not going to get
Hang on,
dragged into it.
let
I'm
me-
not getting dragged into it.
See,
I'm thrown into this panel without another trans person being, without a trans person
Right, but
being
now
here,
you've
and I
got
have
one.
to be the.
now
So
you
thank
are.
God you're here
Let
to
me
be able to
just
talk about
let
it.
me just
Let me-
hang on
let
one
me-
second,
let me-
everyone. Hang on one second. I just want to ask you.
I know it's kind of funny. The black people are just like, we'll
I've
wait.
never had this conversation with a trans person. I just always give my own fucking opinions, even though I'm not trans. So now I need to backpedal on everything I've ever said because suddenly there's someone else in the room. I just freely spoke out of my asshole.
We're just watching these white people go crazy.
This is hilarious.
That's what Tatum and the ladies thinking.
Tatum and the ladies.
You think that trans
the
women
issue-
athletes should be allowed to compete against biological women?
Yes, I do think that.
Do.
Yeah,
And you see no
absolutely.
inconsistency in these positions.
I don't really know.
He's scared to
Honestly,
be
I'm not.
shamed.
I
The
think
same thing that Blaire said. Let me talk. The same thing that Blaire was saying, that people are afraid to be called transphobic and all this stuff. And so are you.
I'm
You
not
won't
afraid.
be honest and tell the truth about the fact that it's absolutely mind-blowingly ridiculous to think that a man with a penis that's impersonating a woman or think he's a woman can be in a women's prison. That's insane.
But this is
you
where the
seem to
disagreement
you
is.
seem to think it's no disagreement, brother. The man has a penis
it's
and
a
he's
woman.
in a cell with a
They're
woman.
She's a woman. If she,
with a penis.
No, no, no.
A woman with
This
a
is
You don't-
the
I believe a
problem.
trans
This
woman
is
is
the
a woman.
problem with society.
pregnant.
Oh,
A woman. As a female penis.
It's a woman.
As a woman.
So, did your mother have a dick too, sir? I'm concerned about your mom. If you think that women have
That's a
penises,
woman.
where did you come out of? Her dick hole
Booty hole. Booty hole, baby.
or her bussy? I'm
Booty
not
hole,
sure.
baby.
Booty hole, baby. Yeah.
The chocolate just hit
You took edibles?
when I left work.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Pregnant.
This is a
Listen,
problem
I
with
don't know
society.
what's
Don't all
going
talk
on.
over each other.
Let me finish.
Yeah, let him
This
finish.
is the problem with society.
Are you saying he's a booty hole baby?
Booty hole, baby.
Wouldn't that be a bussy baby?
I can sing what I want to
We
sing.
can write a song on Bussy Baby. Hey, blonde, gay guy, Buss Babe, Bussy Baby.
I'm too high for this.
Yeah.
I can only make spoof songs.
Okay, another time then.
We need to be logical, reasonable, and operate in facts.
I'm
It is a
respectful.
man that identify as a woman. It's not a woman. It's very simple. Why can't we get
If a man is robbing me at gunpoint, do I still have to be respectful? When does the respectfulness die off? Is it when we sense that the man's kind of a creep, even though he thinks he's a woman? Are we supposed to be respectful then?
There's a difference between respectful and honest. You can
Yeah.
you can be respectful and be honest. I view it as being respectful of women and honest to women, but you see it as respectful to identify whatever they want to be called. Guess it's another difference in viewpoints.
Except his chance of getting R-worded aren't the same as a woman's chance of getting R-worded if she's stuck in a small space with a biological man.
that correct?
Well, why can't
And
we
here's
ask?
the
Let's
thing,
ask
I
Blaire.
don't know how
Blaire,
things-
as the only trans person on this panel, what do you feel about what Officer Tatum just said there?
I 100% agree. And I don't know exactly what goes on overseas in prisons. I'm an American, but what I do know here is just about once a month, there's some kind of story about a female inmate in a federal prison becoming pregnant, and the idea that trans safety should always trump women's safety. I just don't understand that. There are such things as LGBT wards in certain prisons in America. And for me, that's a very easy solution to
That's a
this
great
problem.
solution.
Put trans people in LGBT wards. That makes the trans person safe, and it also keeps women safe.
Yeah, I completely agree with that solution.
Absolutely. Great solution to have a separate LGBTQ ward for the prisons, but not a separate LGBTQ class of sport, a separate section of sport for the trans. There's no, because they believe they're women, so they must compete with the women, even though it's like having a group of giant women who have been pumped up with testosterone competing with you. That's what it's like when you have men competing with women.
I'd like to see him talk with more left-leaning trans individuals and then see what his opinion is after that, you know?
Before we continue, please like and subscribe. You can also join our memberships or send a super chat our way to say thank you for making videos like this.
I think my issue with this conversation is that it feels like a smokescreen for transphobia, and a lot of the time people do
It's
hide
not,
behind
though.
it. But a
This
lot
is
of people
built
do.
up.
I don't think
There
anybody
are a
here
lot
is
of women-
transphobic.
There are a lot of women, biological women, as you would say, in women's prison that are also raping women,
As I
and no
would
one is
say.
talking about that. No one's discussing that. Everyone
It's
just
not
talks
as I
about the
would say, that's
1% of trans people that live in this country that probably aren't going to prison.
Okay, let's take his argument there. Now you get one woman, her name is Beth, and then you put 20 extra women in there in that one room, and then you take another woman, Susie, and then Susie goes into the room with 20 random men. Who are you more afraid for? Are you afraid at all? You know the answer. You're worried for Susie.
I would choose the women.
Yeah.
Although that could get very, very, very aggressive fast.
It could get aggressive. Yeah.
For the 30 men also could be very aggressive, and I would not be safe.
You would not be safe.
Bum, bum, bum.
Because that is the word that is used about all of us whenever we try and stand up for women's rights.
I do understand why
Even
you're saying
me.
that, but by coming on here and supporting trans people in the way I do, I'm constantly called
I support
rumour
trans people.
by your fans.
But you know
on.
what? There's
Is that
such
not
a
also
thing.
Hang on,
scary?
I do want to bring back Esther just on this one point about Daniel Radcliffe, who told The Atlantic, one of the big media organizations in America, it makes me really
So to finish that point,
Yeah.
the amount of women who are raping women in women's prisons,
Do you know the stats?
I don't, but I do know this.
Okay.
If there were the same amount of women, but they were men in
Yeah.
that prison with that woman,
Yeah.
she would be getting,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
I'm pretty damn sure the woman would prefer to be raped by the women than the men. Okay, just being honest with you.
They have more of a fighting chance, at least, against.
Absolutely, they do.
Yeah.
Even against multiple women, they have more of a chance.
just on this one point about Daniel Radcliffe, who told The Atlantic, it makes me really sad ultimately, because I do look at the person that I met, the times that we met, the books that she wrote, and the world that she created, and all of that to me is so deeply empathetic. This is after he's attacked J.K. Rowling again for her stance on defending women's rights. These Harry Potter stars are a bunch of deluded, ill-informed, spoiled brats.
Yeah.
Now, in this country, has come full square behind J.K. Rowling. People like Daniel Radcliffe, spoiled little brats who don't know what they're talking about. They've caused more damage than she has ever done.
I find the lack of self-awareness actually quite baffling. So just removing J.K. Rowling from this, if they suddenly don't like her as a person, fine.
Just the Daniel Radcliffe video with the trans kids in the room, and he's like affirming them. Could you imagine if instead of trans kids in the room, it was a bunch of kids, but they were all anorexic? You're doing a good thing. You're not eating. You don't need to eat. You have nutrients from within with your soul. That's what we believe. You know this, and I believe that you believe it.
I don't understand how you can support one do that when you don't actively have anything to do with it. Is it just because you one time, like hypothetically, is it because you started your career for this person you view as transphobic, right? So now you have to go out and affirm a bunch of trans people to equal out the fact that you once worked with someone who is transphobic? Is that what the hypothetical is here?
It's optics. Yeah.
That's so bizarre.
It is, especially since there's no like hard scientific evidence that any of this transitioning children will work, to go so hard that you would double down and put out a video like that, that's pretty nuts. You would
That's
have
what
to
I'm
be crazy in
saying.
order to do that.
Yeah.
That's like going hardcore for lobotomies before we knew it was bad.
Right.
But for children, lobotomies for children.
Yeah, even though you haven't had one.
But they think they need one.
Yeah. Wild.
But she's speaking on behalf of women that are scared of having their spaces removed. She was a victim of domestic violence, and she's saying it is detrimental to women to remove their safe spaces. It is detrimental to women to tell them that they must compete with biological men who somehow feel entitled to their spaces. How can they not see past that? Think of the women that she's speaking on behalf of. So you're willing to put all of those women's lives at risk to be able to virtue signal to what all 10 trans people.
And by the way, if they're that outraged by how evil J.K. Rowling is, hand back all the money you've made from J.K. Rowling.
Or they could donate it to a trans cause.
Give your rights to the trans causes, right?
Give your money
You can sign
that
it
you
off.
made from J.K.
Sign off
Rowling.
the future checks for your royalties to those people.
Donations, tax write-offs.
You've all raked in because you were very, very happy to make money from her, and now you want to trash her in public. It's the worst kind of disloyalty.
I think it's really indicative of the fact that the trans community has become so radioactive and such a repellent to common sense and reason that the person who made Dumbledore gay retroactively, that made Hermione Granger black retroactively, it takes a lot to get that person to be like, but you know what, the trans people are doing a bit much here.
No,
I think that should show everyone it's time to recalibrate and get some common sense.
Yes.
And it's not a bad thing. Separate but not equal is not always a bad thing.
J.K. Rowling is a biological woman who's speaking on behalf of women because she has dealt with things and experienced things within her life that have been detrimental by the hands of men. So she knows the danger that men can cause, and but what she does know for sure is that women need their safe spaces. If college students can have their safe spaces, why can't we?
Well, they don't have safe spaces because you've seen what's been going on in colleges, so.
Safe spaces.
You know what I mean.
I do.
I mean, another trans woman.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I don't feel victimized in any way that I'm not in every single woman's space, or I have my own space, I do my own thing, and that's how trans people should be.
God, it's so refreshing to hear a trans person publicly say this, because
It's also kind of bullying, don't you think? Like, oh, not only do I want to look and be like you, I believe that I'm you so much that I don't care that you don't see me the way I see myself. Get out of my way, bitch. I'm the new head honcho in town, and I'm going to bully my ass into your locker rooms and sports teams. Ha ha! But that ain't what a woman do. You tell me one trans man, biological woman, who has done that and forced her way into a man's space and caused problems. Don't worry, I'll wait. Because this is an asshole thing. Hi, I'm Nina. I'm asshole phobic. You're supposed to say hi, Nina.
I want to ask you, Joe, because you're the only person who identifies as gay on this panel. I think that's right.
Right, are you about to come out? Piers?
Not yet. Now, there's a new pride flag. I tried to read out all the initials that go with pride these days, but it's a weird picture of this pride flag. Let's take a look.
Oh, Lord.
It looks like the old test card on
Jesus fucking Christ.
Look
What
at
is
that gaudy thing.
What is that?
It's an umbrella. I see an umbrella.
What's that for?
I can't remember. But it's for something that has nothing to do with the
What's
original
with the purple
flag.
ring?
I don't know either. There's a black bar there too. Black, brown, that goes with the trans flag as a blue and the pink.
The rainbow's gone.
I was thinking the same thing.
Look at how little the rainbow is.
It's just taking over. That whole gaudy mess
Bye.
is just It's not a perfect representation of the LGBTQA. Blah 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 blah. Isn't it?
We say
Wait. Oh yeah.
we say LGB without the T, and they
Yeah.
said, you know what? Fuck you too.
Right. The flag started out like with the rainbow, right? So it's like LGBT all
It's
over.
literally less than
It's just
50%.
it's like someone took our flag and vomited all over it.
It's less than 50%. I
I think it's 20.
We're gone.
20% maybe.
How can you call us LGBTQ
Bye-bye.
when all our colors are gone?
We left the building a long time ago, honey.
What's with all the red fucking umbrella shit?
I don't know. And you know what? Don't need to. Because it doesn't matter.
That's insane.
Because it's taken over.
That's insane.
I would like them to just wipe out the rest of our flag just so we don't have to be involved.
Just get rid of it.
We don't need to be here. You guys got this covered. You don't need to.
Literally, they covered all of it.
Y'all don't need to hide behind us anymore. You got this covered.
No, they hid us behind them. That was what they chose. That's insane.
Isn't that creepy and kind of weird, isn't it? They're hiding behind the guise of the LGBT, and yet
Next, you're gonna see a little like GPS for maps on there.
NAMBLA.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, this is sick.
Television.
Showing your age.
When everything froze.
looks like
James,
a
what am I looking at?
pig
It's a psychedelic vomit mess, isn't it? What is it?
It's ugly.
I love that it's got an umbrella.
I mean, if you look at it, it kind of looks like a butthole being penetrated, doesn't it?
Whose butthole has that curvature? Whose butthole can be straddled?
I'm just saying.
Whose butthole can be straddled?
LGBTQ, blah, 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 blah. Those people.
I know. I hate it.
Like representation for the rain in this
Yeah.
country. Honestly, like I don't really get it. Like I don't understand why we need to keep changing it. But what I do understand
Why
is that
do
it
they
doesn't
keep
matter.
changing it?
But it's fine. You know, that's the point with the flag. Like we can change it. We're not stuck in our ways like straight people. We're not going to get upset by
But
the England
should we
flag being
change it?
redesigned. Well, it can if it wants to. It's changed a lot over the years.
I'm a lesbian. I want to be stuck in my lesbian ways. I have no desire to change. So, yeah, you know what? I am a lesbian. I am conserving my lesbianism. Are you conserving your lesbianism?
I have been for a long time.
Conserved.
We didn't invent
There
the
shouldn't be
rainbow.
a
God
flag.
invented the
If you're-
rainbow. We use that as a
There
symbol
shouldn't be a
to
flag.
let.
I think, like, if
It
you're
is
an
weird,
American, you're all encompassed under the American flag. We're all Americans, whether you're gay, straight, blind, you can see, crippled. It doesn't matter. We're all.
And I agree with that. Us gay people, what we wanted, we just wanted to be left alone. Don't hate us. We want to like assimilate.
Marry our partners.
You know what? Yeah, marry our partners,
about it.
blend in. We just wanted to blend in. We wanted to be underneath the American flag with all the other Americans, as long as they didn't hate us or try to push us away.
Yeah.
And it seems like we've reached that goal. But now
They're
people
pushing too
under this
far.
gaudy flag are pushing people under the American flag away. And I think that's ridiculous because, in all honesty, if I have to go out and fight, I know that people under the American flag are going to fight for me over the people under that ugly looking thing.
Whatever that is.
Epileptics, do not look at the new flag. It is dangerous. It needs like a warning before you see the flag. Epileptics
Warning.
beware.
Ugly as fuck.
Might cause seizures.
It doesn't matter. We're all Americans, and we should be accepting of one another. We don't have to like one another. We don't have to like what each other does, but we should be accepting. And that's the way that normal people believe. It's the trans and the LGBTQ AARP.
So wait,
AARP?
That's a good one. I like that one.
That was a guy like that. That was good. That was good.
Ford factory and they've got like a big Ford flag outside or a Chrysler flag, or are you not allowed those flags because those flags don't represent
So
the
you're
company?
saying, you're saying that.
Well, yours
Does Ford have a parade? A whole bunch of dudes in like
Macy's does.
Macy's has a parade, but who represents Macy's? Who's marching in the Macy's parade?
Macy's.
Say Macy's again. Macy's are walking in the Macy's parade.
Yeah, they're performers and they're paid.
Who's walking in the gay parade? Not gays.
No, there's
No.
probably a lot of gays there too.
No, they don't think they're gay anymore because they're probably trans, which makes them straight.
Not the men that were standing out there with whips and tassels. They're definitely gay.
Are you sure? They're probably pansexual.
I don't want to talk about that one. You can have your opinions.
It's not cool to be gay anymore, guys. It's not cool.
It wasn't cool before either. We're just cycling back.
I know. We're going back. It's like this. It's the snake that eats its own tail.
Yeah, here we are.
What you're saying is that the LGBTQ is a business. Is that
no,
what
I'm
you're
not.
saying?
I'm
You
using
guys are
a
representing
crazy
an
analogy to
agenda.
try and understand what you're
No,
saying about
you
how
don't need a
my
flag.
identity
You don't
as a
need-
gay man
Let me-
is not allowed because
It's
I'm also
different.
Because
British.
it never ends, brother. It never ends.
But why does it matter to you? It's only you that can. Look, I know you guys are all really jealous that you don't have a flag, and so I know you're triggered.
NAMBLA has a flag. Would you like to be under the NAMBLA flag? Do you know what NAMBLA is?
Yes.
Man Boy Love Association.
Yeah.
Eh.
Yeah.
I feel like they already snuck their way into that flag. They already snuck their way
They
into our
probably
flag.
did somehow.
They did. I bet they're like they're there. Maybe there's like the yellow ring.
I think purple's autism. It's changed from someone who has a homosexual orientation. That's what the LGBT flag was about before. It's changed from that to anyone who's had any type of oppression. It's no longer about your sexual orientation.
Yeah, so now it doesn't represent gays anymore. It represents anyone who's ever been oppressed ever.
Or who wants to identify as oppressed. That's the problem.
Yes, that's the identified as oppressed flag.
Because you choose to identify that way.
You can choose to identify any way you want to. That kind of
Why
that's
not
the flag.
oppressed?
The reason they keep changing the pride flag is the definition of what it is to be LGBT has now been increased to so many ludicrous numbers of digits, numbers, and letters. Nobody knows what it means. It has lost all
Well, then why are you getting
meaning.
so upset
Nobody
about
does.
It is to be just lesbian and
Nobody
gay.
does.
We get
And-
it. Okay, well, I'm happy. Be proud. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, that's why we're so upset about it.
It's really apples and oranges that people just keep comparing and comparing and comparing. They're not the
I know.
same.
I know. Stupid people arguing with the dumb. Isn't it funny? The people who are like, I'm oppressed. You're not oppressed. You're the oppressor. Those are the people that are the least oppressed of them all. Those are the ones who just shut the fuck up. Because those are the ones that don't know what they're talking about. And
They
they're talking the
haven't.
loudest. It's like, I guess no one paid attention to you when you were a kid because you have to talk so fucking loud for someone to listen to you because anything that comes out of your mouth is so stupid.
I mean, hear them. Listen to them.
Nah, I stopped after a while.
I mean, clearly no one listened to them. That's my point. You stopped. They stopped. Their parents stopped. Their teachers stopped. And now they're just yelling into the void.
Their therapists stopped too. The therapists were like, I ain't gonna help this bitch. You're right. You're right. I ain't gonna help this motherfucker. Are they crazy, these motherfuckers? Yes.
You're screwed.
You're right about everything. Let's write you a script.
You're screwed. You need to.
Motherfucker's
You need to
crazy.
become a woman.
Right? Like and subscribe.